Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you all for being here today on this auspicious occasion, and welcome to the New Providence Ecology Park. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here with us today. So we know we have a bit of a late start, so we're just going to go straight into everything. So I'm just going to ask that we all stand for a brief moment of prayer. Coming now with our opening and welcome remarks is Ms. Charlene Stirrup, who is our Hazardous Waste Facility Coordinator. Let's give her a round of applause as she comes.
Distinguished guests, Minister Zane Lightbourne, Minister of Environment and Natural Disaster, Mr. David Davis, Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Lorna Williams, and Dr. Rihanna Neely, Director of Department of Environmental Health. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome all of you to New Providence Ecology Park 7th anniversary and to launch the unfolding of our eLeaf certification program to corporate Bahamas. Today is not just a celebration of our achievement, but also a tribute to the dedication and creativity and teamwork that have brought us this far. Over the past few years, we have faced challenges, embraced opportunities, and achieved milestones that reflect the strength of our vision and the passion of our people. This celebration is a moment to pause, appreciate how far we've come, and look forward to the exciting journey ahead. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to our incredible team, our valued partners, and our loyal clients. Your trust and collaborations are the foundation of our success. So let's enjoy this event together, share stories, make memories, and celebrate not just what we have accomplished, but the spirit that makes us who we are. Here's to continue growth, innovation, and shared success. Welcome, and let's make this event unforgettable.
And I'm sure that you all feel a whole lot more welcome. Now we will have our Hazardous Waste Facility Manager in the person of Mr. Nelson Bowe, who will come to share with us on the impact of improper hazardous waste disposal. Following Mr. Bowe will be Miss Jamie Strawn, who is our HR and Administrative Manager, who will speak on the eLeaf certification framework. They will come in that order. Mr. Bowe?
Okay, thank you and good morning. Protocol already being established. It is my absolute pleasure to speak to you on the impact of improper hazardous waste. The improper disposal of hazardous waste has wide and far-reaching and long-lasting consequences, especially in a small island nation like ours. This archipelago, just a bunch of small mass of lands. Particularly but first, it affects human, which we know affects individual family health and wealth. Additionally, it affects ecosystem and economies. When hazardous materials such as automotive fluid, solvents, heavy metals like lead, mercury, arsenic, pesticides, and batteries are discharged improperly, they can leach into soil and groundwater, then migrate through that soil or volatilize into the air. This contamination can lead to acute health effects for people in the surrounding areas. Health effects such as respiratory, skin irritation, as well as other chronic conditions like cancer, neurological disorders, and neurological disorders can occur from long-term exposure. Children and pregnant women are especially vulnerable to these hazards, which amplify the social stakes and the flaw in waste management. Environmental impacts are profound and often very expensive to correct, taking a very long time. Groundwater contamination can persist for decades, limiting access to drinking water for access to water for drinking and agricultural use. Soil toxicity disrupts ecosystems, most times from the microbial level. Okay. Reducing crop yields and weakening ecosystems' resilience. Surface water bodies, like our wetlands and the few lakes that we have, become toxic, receiving the runoff, causing fish and algae to suffer. Okay. Biodiversity is lost. Food, the production of food and other vegetation is limited or it is contaminated. Economy cost compounds these risks. Cleaning up pollution sites, known as remediation, is expensive and time-consuming, often diverting funds from education, healthcare, or other infrastructures. Property values decline around contaminated areas and productivity is lost. So, the improper disposal of especially electronic waste is something that we here in the Bahamas have to be extremely mindful of. The increase in use due to technology has caused us to use these electronics. I mean, we use them every day. Each and every one of us in here has a cell phone with us. All of our offices are filled with printers, laptops, and all of these other electronics. It is incumbent upon us that we be mindful of how they are disposed of at end of life. Thank you.
Good morning to those who have not greeted already for the morning. Today is a proud and defining moment for New Providence Ecology Park as we introduce the eLeaf certification program, a sustainable framework designed to recognize and advance leadership in responsible electronic waste management and circular environmental practices. We developed the eLeaf certification program because we saw a clear need. Electronic waste is one of the fastest growing waste streams worldwide. And here in the Bahamas, it often ends up in our landfill, where it poses great risk to our environmental and our communities. We wanted to change that story here at New Providence Ecology Park. The program gives organizations a structured, credible way to demonstrate their environmental commitments through recycling contributions, sustainable policies, and advocacy that raises awareness. Why is it important, some might ask? Well, it's important because sustainability is no longer a choice. It is a responsibility. Every discarded device, every piece of electronic waste that ends up in our landfill represents a missed opportunity to protect our environment and safeguard our future. By diverting e-waste, we reduce pollution, conserve valuable resources, and lessen the strain on our landfill. But beyond environmental benefits, the eLeaf certification also creates accountability. It gives companies a way to demonstrate their ESG commitments in a tangible, measurable way. It signals to employees, customers, and communities that sustainability is just not a slogan, it's an actual practice. This program bridges the gap between intention and action. Many organizations talk about sustainability, but the E-LEAF certification provides a framework to actually prove it. It ensures the environmental responsibility is visible, credible, and of course, celebrated. And in doing so, it helps build a culture of sustainability across our islands, one that inspires businesses, schools, and communities to take part in protecting what we all share. The certification itself is built on 3 pillars: volume contribution, which measures how much e-waste organizations divert from a landfill; policy implementation, which looks at systems companies have adopted and embedded in their organization; and advocacy and education, which recognize efforts to inspire awareness both internally and across the wider community. Organizations are awarded certification levels: activated LEAF, integrated LEAF, sustainable enterprise LEAF, and full LEAF illumination based on their performance throughout the program. Each level represents a deeper commitment to environmental stewardship, and every certification is independently verified to ensure credibility and transparency. We are honored today to recognize Cable Bahamas Limited as the pioneering organization of the E-LEAF certification program and the first company to achieve the full LEAF illumination. Their achievement reflects verified environmental contributions, structured sustainability initiatives, and leadership in public advocacy. While Cable Bahamas has set an inspiring benchmark, the true strength of this program lies in the collective action of corporate Bahamas. Every organization represented here today has an opportunity to lead, to innovate, and to demonstrate that sustainability is not just possible, it's essential. Looking ahead, our vision is for the E-LEAF certification to become a national symbol of excellence in sustainability. Over time, the program will help drive diversion of e-waste, encourage sustainable procurement, and inspire educational initiatives in schools, on the airwaves, and across our family islands. We see a future where E-LEAF is not only a certification, but a movement that transforms how Bahamas manages waste, strengthens climate resilience, and builds pride in environmental leadership. A movement that says sustainability is not an option, it is essential. A movement that shows that the Bahamas can lead with vision, responsibility, and pride. Cable Bahamas has set the tone, but the future of E-LEAF belongs to all of us. Every business, every institution, every community has a role to play. Together, we can ensure that this certification grows and a national standard that inspires lasting change. What we begin today is only the first chapter. The E-LEAF certification is a pathway to progress, a symbol of leadership, and the catalyst for change that will shape the Bahamas we leave for our future generations. At this time, it is our distinct honor to recognize the pioneering leadership of Cable Bahamas Limited as the very first organization to achieve full LEAF illumination under the E-LEAF certification program. Their achievement reflects not only measurable environmental contributions, but also a commitment to embedding sustainability into their culture and inspiring change across our nation. I now invite Mr. Candino Knowles to join me as I present you the award in recognition of the outstanding accomplishment and your role and Cable Bahamas' role in the inaugural recipient of the E-LEAF certification at the highest level. I'll present the award to you.
Jamie, thank you. Thank you so much for that. Certainly at Cable Bahamas, we are very proud to accept this honor today. The protocol has already been established, and so I will just stand on that. And I will say that it really is an honor for us to accept this award. Today's recognition really does reflect an important step in our continued efforts to strengthen how we manage electronic waste responsibly, but also support environmentally sound disposable practices within our operation. As an organization, we obviously rely on technology to help us deliver the services to everybody, to keep us all connected every day. And so we recognize the importance of ensuring that equipment is handled appropriately throughout its life cycle. So participating in initiatives like this, it supports that responsibility for us. But more importantly, it reinforces Cable Bahamas' commitment to improving how we approach sustainability in practical ways. We're also proud to be the first corporate citizen. CDLT, we're the first. And again, a pioneer, as Cable Bahamas has always been. I had to put that in there. And in being proud of that, and being the first corporate citizen in the Bahamas to participate, we encourage others. That is the goal for us today. We encourage other organizations across the country to take similar steps as we work to strengthen responsible environmental practices nationally. And while this certification marks a meaningful milestone for us, it also represents part of a broader, ongoing effort to operate responsibly and support initiatives that contribute to environmental stewardship. So, on behalf of the entire leadership team and the entire Cable Bahamas group, we thank you for the recognition and the opportunity to participate in this initiative. Thank you.
Let's hear it one more time for our recipient, Cable Bahamas Limited. Very powerful words from Miss Jamie Strawn, and also our recipient today. So now, we have come to a time when we get to hear from one of our distinguished guests in the room today. He's no stranger, of course, to the New Providence Ecology Park, and we always love when he shows up, right? And the person that I speak of this morning is none other than the Honorable Minister Zane Lightbourne, who is the Minister of Environment and Natural Resources. Please stand as he approaches.
Thank you. Good morning. Please be seated, please. How's everyone doing this morning?
Great.
I do also recognize the protocol that has been established here, and I would like to acknowledge that it is also my pleasure to be here at the Ecology Park under its circumstances for the last 7 years, where it ain't that much stress. Being a Minister of Environment now that the Ecology Park has responsibility for the site. And you have good lunch too. So there are moments in public life when we are called not simply to acknowledge progress, but to recognize systems that make progress possible. This afternoon is one of those moments. It is an opportunity to reflect on the work. It is an opportunity to reflect on the work that is often out of sight, yet essential to the health and safety of our future and of this nation. 7 years ago, the New Providence Ecology Park assumed responsibility for the management of the New Providence landfill. A task, while rarely celebrated, touches the daily lives of every resident on this island. The proper management of waste is not a ceremonial function of the government or industry. It is a foundational function. It determines the quality of air, the safety of our groundwater, the well-being of communities that live in the proximity to this facility especially, and ultimately the environmental inheritance we pass on to our next generation. Over the past 7 years, the New Providence Ecology Park has demonstrated that this is a disciplined organization. They have demonstrated what discipline, professional stewardship can achieve. The consistent operation of this facility without major incident, as I would have stated, represents more than operational competence. It represents stability for our surrounding communities, protection for our natural resources, and the reassurance for the Bahamian public that essential infrastructure is being managed and cared for with accountability. That record deserves recognition, and I think they deserve a round of applause. What distinguishes institutions of consequence is not only their ability to manage what exists, but their willingness to expand what is possible. New Providence Ecology Park has done so through the development of a residential drop-off facility, the establishment of Hazardous Materials Center, as you would have heard earlier, and the advancement of a serious electronic waste diversion program at a time when e-waste has become the fastest growing waste stream globally, as you would have heard this morning. These initiatives reflect a mindset that looks beyond compliance and towards leadership. It is within the spirit and this spirit that we gather today to mark the launch of the eLeaf certification program. Environmental stewardship in the 21st century cannot be the responsibility of government alone, nor can it rely solely on the goodwill of individuals. The scale and complexity of modern environmental challenges demand structured partnerships with the private sector. They require clear standards, measurable outcomes, and systems that recognize and reward responsible corporate behavior. The eLeaf certification program provides precisely that framework. It establishes a credible, nationally recognized pathway through which organizations with various or varying sizes and capacity can demonstrate their commitment to responsible environmental practices. Importantly, it does so in a manner that is inclusive. This is not a program designed only for the largest enterprises or the most resourced institutions. It is intended to create a culture of environmental responsibility that extends across the breadth of our economy. In that context, I wish also to extend congratulations, particularly to Cable Bahamas, the pioneering organization to achieve or that has achieved full leaf illumination, the highest level of certification within this program. And don't be afraid to give them a round of applause again. It's always good to be the first. The diversion, well, not always good to be the first, but you know what I mean. The diversion of the 156,223 pounds of electronic waste from our landfill represents a tangible and commendable contribution to the protection of our environment. It is also an example of the kind of leadership that has the potential to influence corporate decision-making across our country. Corporate environmental stewardship is not an act of charity. It is an expression of strategic foresight and institutional responsibility. It signals to employees, customers, and investors alike that an organization understands the role within a broader social and environmental landscape. Programs such as eLeaf creates a condition through which that understanding can be translated into measurable action and measurable outcomes. To the leadership and the staff of the New Providence Ecology Park, I offer congratulations. I offer congratulations on your 7 years of service, marked by professionalism and marked by forward thinking. The work you undertake may not always command public attention, but it has profound and lasting implications for the sustainability of our nation. and to the organizations operating throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, I extend a clear invitation. Every entity that produces waste, which is to say that every entity that participates in our economy, has a responsibility to consider how waste is managed. The eLeaf certification program offers a practical and credible means for demonstrating that responsibility. The health of our environment is the foundation of everything we hope to build as a nation. When our institutions lead with responsibility and our government walks alongside them, we create a condition or conditions for Bahamas that endures not just for us, but for every generation that follows. To that end, I am pleased to confirm that the government of the Bahamas stands in full support of the eLeaf certification program. We will continue to explore ways in which the government can strengthen and expand initiatives of this kind of program across our entire nation. Thank you so much for your time and attention.
Round of applause to his kind remarks. Coming now with our closing and vote of thanks is one of our, we call him one of our shining gems around here at the New Providence Ecology Park, and a good example for young men to follow, right? And the person that I speak of is Mr. John Thomas, who is our landfill operations assistant manager. Let's give Mr. John a round of applause.
Ladies and gents, good morning. On behalf of the New Providence Ecology Park, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to each of you for joining us at our official launch of the eLeaf certification program. Your presence has truly made this occasion meaningful. We are deeply honored by our attendance of our distinguished guest, Minister Zane Lightburn, whose leadership continues to inspire national progress in sustainability. Permanent Secretary David Davis, for his steadfast and supportive environmental initiatives, and our pioneering partners, Cable Bahamas, the first organization to achieve the highest level certification, full leaf nomination. Your commitment sets a powerful example for corporate Bahamas. To all of the corporate representatives present, thank you for taking the time and for showing genuine interest in this national movement. Your engagement demonstrates that together, we can transform how the Bahamas manages electronic waste and build a more resilient, sustainable future. We sincerely appreciate our patrons and partners whose support has made this program possible. Today marks not just the launch of a framework, but the beginning of a collective journey. We encourage every organization in attendance to take the next step. Become eLeaf certified and join us in shaping a cleaner, greener, sustainable Bahamas. Once again, thank you all for your time, your presence, and your commitments.